I stared at the lottery ticket in my trembling hands, the silver dust from the scratch-off still clinging to my fingertips. $7 million. The numbers seemed to glow in the dim light of my apartment kitchen on that cold December night. My heart wasn't racing with joy. It was pounding with something darker, more complicated. A plan was forming, one that would finally answer the question I'd been afraid to ask for 12 years. Did my family love me, or just what I could give them? My name is Maya Chin. I'm 27 years old, and I've been my family's personal ATM since I was 15. The night I discovered that crumpled lottery ticket, December 8th, I wasn't celebrating. I was bone-tired from working a double shift as a registered nurse at Miami General Hospital. My scrubs still smelled like hospital disinfectant. My one-bedroom apartment in Kendall felt like a way station rather than a home. Every paycheck I earned since high school got divided before it even hit my account. Half for me to barely survive, half for everyone else to live comfortably. My sister Sienna's college tuition at Florida International University, my dad's dental work, my mom's car payments, my aunt's medical bills. The list never ended, and neither did their expectations. The gas station where I bought the ticket 2 weeks earlier, November 24th, had been nearly empty. Just me and an older woman behind the counter whose eyes carried the same exhaustion I felt. "You should buy some tickets, honey," she said with a knowing smile. "I got a feeling someone's luck is about to change around here." I don't believe in luck. Never have. Luck is for people who can afford to dream. But something in her voice made me pause. "Give me 5 tickets. The scratch-offs." For 2 weeks, those tickets sat forgotten in my purse while I worked shifts that blurred together and fielded calls from Sienna about needing $800 for a new iPhone. "Maya, everyone has the iPhone 15 and I'm stuck with this ancient thing. I look like such a loser." Did I have $800 to spare? Absolutely not. Did I send it anyway? Of course I did, just like I'd done for 12 years. The night I found those tickets, December 8th, I was cleaning my apartment. The first 4 tickets yielded nothing. By the time I got to the 5th, I felt pretty stupid for wasting $25 I couldn't afford. Then, I scratched the last one. When those numbers matched, reality seemed to bend around me. People like me don't win $7 million. People like me work until our bodies give out, eat ramen noodles for dinner, and give away money we don't have to family members who never say thank you. My first instinct was to call Sienna. I actually had my phone out, her contact pulled up, when something made me stop. A cold clarity washed over me. What if I didn't tell them? Not forever, just long enough to see what would happen if Maya suddenly couldn't handle it anymore. To see who would help the person who'd been helping everyone else for over a decade. I made coffee that night, my mind crystallizing around this idea. For 12 years, I'd been their safety net. Every crisis, every want, every random expense, they came to me. And not once had any of them thanked me like they meant it. My sister's words from our last call. "Finally, I thought you forgot." My mother's casual dismissal. "Good. We were worried we'd have to ask twice." Ask twice. Like once wasn't insulting enough. By the time I finished my coffee, I'd made my decision. I wasn't going to tell them about the lottery win. First, I was going to find out who my real family was. The plan formed over the next week. I'd tell them I lost my job and was about to lose my apartment right before Christmas. See who stepped up to help. That Saturday morning, December 15th, I opened our family group chat. I could see most of my relatives were online. Perfect timing. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. This was it. The moment I'd find out what I was really worth to them. I took a deep breath and started typing. "Hey everyone, I have some bad news. I got fired from the hospital yesterday. They said they were cutting staff and I was one of the last hired, so first to go. I don't have enough saved up to cover next month's rent, and I'm going to get evicted by January 3rd if I can't come up with $2,400. Right after Christmas." I hit send and watched the little delivered notification appear. Then I waited. The response was almost immediate. Mom, does this mean you can't help us with the mortgage payment this month? We were counting on our $1,500. My stomach clenched. That was her first concern. Not, are you okay, but whether she'd still get her money. I don't have any savings, Mom. I've been living paycheck to paycheck. Sienna, well, who's gonna pay for my tuition now? The spring semester bill is due next week. $4,800. The words on my screen blurred as tears welled up. I'm struggling right now, I typed. I need help. I might be living in my car in 3 weeks. That's when Sienna really showed her true colors. Sienna, serves you right. If you were too stupid to save money for emergencies, that's your problem. You should have been more responsible instead of just working all the time like an idiot. Maybe if you'd gotten a better job instead of being a nurse, you wouldn't be in this mess. I stared at my phone screen, the air rushing from my lungs. Serves me right. I'd been paying for her college, her phone, her everything for years. But it got worse. I watched as other family members started reacting to Sienna's message. Thumbs up emojis from Mom and Dad, heart reactions from Aunt Lauren and Uncle Kevin. The reason I don't have savings is because I've been helping all of you with money for years, I typed. I've been supporting this family since I was 15. Uncle Kevin, you helped us out a few times. That doesn't mean we owe you anything now. Don't be dramatic. A few times? I'd paid his electric bill for 8 months straight last year. $1,200 total. Aunt Lauren, we never asked you to help us. That was your choice. You can't hold that over our heads now. She literally sobbed in my arms while asking me to cover her insulin costs for over 6 months. $450 every month for 6 months. Cousin Jade, you can't expect us to bail you out just because you made bad financial decisions. That's not how the real world works, Maya. I was crying now. Angry tears that I wiped away with the back of my hand. I need a place to stay for a few weeks while I look for work. It's almost Christmas. The silence stretched for several minutes. Mom, we don't have room for you. The guest room is full of Christmas decorations. You need to figure this out yourself. We're disappointed in how irresponsible you've been. Aunt Lauren, I'm not taking in some unemployed person with no money. I have my own problems. Christmas is expensive enough without another mouth to feed. Uncle Kevin, sorry, Maya, but we can't help you. You're an adult. Handle your business. Dad, your mother is right. We raised you better than this. You should have planned ahead. Sienna was the last to respond. She posted a photo of a homeless woman sleeping on a bench with a sign that said, "Hungry and homeless, please help," and wrote, "Maya's Christmas Eve plans, LOL." The reactions flooded in. Laughing emojis, crying laughing faces, thumbs ups. My own family was laughing at the idea of me being homeless during Christmas. I closed the chat without responding. I sat on my couch and cried for 30 minutes straight. Not sad tears anymore. Angry tears. Maybe relieved, because now I knew the truth. My phone rang an hour later. It was my cousin Alexis, who'd been in the chat but hadn't said anything.
Alexis was different. She'd always been kind, never asked me for money. We didn't talk often, but when we did, she genuinely cared. "Maya," she said, her voice gentle but firm, "I saw what happened in the chat. That was disgusting." I almost started crying again. "Yeah, well, now I know where I stand," I said. "Look, I don't have much. I'm still working at Target, saving up for my own place. But I've got a couch in my apartment. You can stay here until you get back on your feet. No rent, no questions. Family should help family." And there it was, the one person who actually meant it. After I hung up, I looked at that lottery ticket again, still sitting on my kitchen table. Alexis had just proven she was real family. She was the only one who'd passed the test. The next day, December 16th, I went to my nursing supervisor and requested 2 weeks of vacation starting December 18th. She looked surprised. "Are you sure you're okay, Maya?" she asked, genuine concern in her eyes. It struck me how strange it was that my boss showed more care than my own parents did. "I'm fine," I said. "Just need some time to sort things out." That evening, I researched what to do when you win the lottery. I found a financial advisor named Richard Santos, who specialized in lottery winners. When I met with him on December 18th at his office in Coral Gables, he was completely professional. "Congratulations on your win," he said. $7 million is a nice sum. After federal and state taxes, you'll have around $3.2 million to work with. First rule, don't tell anyone. The minute people find out you've won money, you become everyone's personal ATM. I told him about my family test, and he nodded approvingly. Smart move. Most lottery winners go broke within 5 years because they can't say no to family and friends. You're already ahead of the game. He helped me set up investments and gave me the best advice. Don't make any big changes right away. Keep working. Keep living in your apartment. The money will still be there in 6 months. 3 days later, December 21st, I packed a bag and moved in with Alexis. Her apartment was tiny, just a 1-bedroom in Hialeah with a pull-out couch, but she made me feel more welcome than my own family ever had. Alexis worked at Target, making $15 an hour. Not much money, but she shared everything she had with me. She bought groceries for both of us, never asked me to contribute, and even gave me $40 here and there for job hunting expenses. I tried to refuse, but she insisted. "We all need help sometimes," she'd say. "You can pay it forward someday." On Christmas Eve, December 24th, we sat in her tiny apartment watching old movies and eating pizza. She'd bought a small tree and decorated it with dollar store ornaments. "I'm sorry your Christmas is like this," she said quietly. "You deserve better." I looked at her, giving me her couch and her money when she barely had any. "This is perfect," I said. "Thank you for being real family." Meanwhile, Alexis stayed in the family group chat and filled me in on what was happening. "Your mom posted yesterday," she told me on December 26th. "She said you'd always been the family screw-up, and she wasn't surprised you couldn't handle adult responsibilities. Your dad said you were an embarrassment." Sienna posted some meme about freeloaders getting what they deserved. Everyone thought it was hilarious. It should have hurt, but it just made me more certain I'd made the right choice. After 2 weeks with Alexis, I told her I'd found a job in an apartment. She seemed genuinely happy for me. "I'm so proud of you," she said, giving me a hug. "I knew you'd bounce back." If only she knew. I moved back into my old apartment on January 5th and kept working at Miami General, but everything felt different. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't stressed about money. I bought myself decent work clothes, replaced my ancient phone, got my car fixed. Little changes, nothing flashy. 3 months passed. Richard helped me invest most of the money conservatively, and I started looking at houses. "I'd recommend staying under $400,000, Richard advised. "You want to be comfortable, not house poor." I found a perfect place in Coral Springs, a 3-bedroom house with a small yard. It was listed at $375,000. When the seller accepted my cash offer on March 28th, I felt like I was living in a dream. Moving day was April 15th. My own house. My own mortgage-free house. That's when I decided it was time to tell Alexis the truth. I invited her over for dinner on April 20th. When she arrived, I watched her face as she took in the house, her eyes widening. "Maya, this is beautiful," she said. "How did you afford to rent something this nice?" I smiled. "I didn't rent it, Lex. I bought it." Her face went blank. "You bought it? With what money?" "That's what I need to tell you. I wasn't really unemployed. I won the lottery, Lex. $7 million.
She just stared at me for a long moment. Then she sat down hard on my new couch. You won the lottery and you pretended to be homeless? I needed to know who actually cared about me, I said. I'd been supporting everyone for so long. I wanted to see what would happen if I needed support for once. Alexis was quiet for a while. Finally, she looked up at me. So you tested all of us? Yeah, and you were the only one who passed. That's when I handed her the check I'd already written out. $250,000. Her name right there on the Pay To line. This is for you, for being real family. When everyone else showed their true colors, you showed me yours. Alexis looked at the check, then at me, then back at the check. Her hands started shaking. Maya, I can't take this. This is too much money. You can and you will. You shared your home with me, bought me food, gave me money you couldn't afford to give. She started crying then, and so did I. But they were good tears, happy tears. Thank you, she whispered, hugging me tight. Thank you for being the sister I always wished I had. And that's when I knew I'd made the right choice about everything. I had found my real family, and it wasn't the people I'd grown up with. 2 months passed in this weird bubble of happiness. I was working at Miami General because I wanted to, not because I was desperate for money. Alexis and I hung out all the time. She was planning to use her money to buy her own apartment and go back to school for graphic design. Life was good. Then my bubble got popped in the worst way possible. It was June 18th, a Saturday afternoon. I was planning a vacation to Hawaii, my first real vacation in 4 years, when someone started pounding on my front door like they were trying to break it down. I looked through the peephole and my blood went cold. Mom, Dad, and Sienna were standing on my porch, and they looked furious. I opened the door, and Sienna immediately started screaming at me, her face contorted with rage. You lying piece of work. We know about the lottery. We know about this house. How could you do this to us? Sienna, calm down, I said. But she was on a roll. Calm down? You let us think you were homeless while you were sitting on millions of dollars? And then you gave Alexis $250,000? That money should have gone to me. I'm your sister. Dad pushed past Sienna and got in my face. His familiar cologne mixed with the sour smell of anger. We found out everything, Maya. About the money, about Alexis, about your little test. We know you've been lying to us for months. How did you find out? I asked, though I was pretty sure I knew how. Alexis told her mom, Maya, Mom said sharply. Her mom told Lauren. Lauren told everyone. The whole family knows now. They're all talking about how you screwed us over. I almost laughed. Of course that's how they'd react. Not, Maya won the lottery, good for her. But Maya screwed us over. We've got mortgage payments, Dad continued, ticking off points on his fingers. Sienna's tuition, Lauren's medical bills. You owe us.
I don't owe you anything, I said, my voice steadier than I expected. But you want to know what I do have? I pulled out my phone and scrolled to the screenshots I'd saved from the family chat, the ones from when I was supposedly homeless and desperate. Remember this? I said, showing Sienna her message about me being a stupid, irresponsible idiot who deserved to be homeless. And this. I showed them the photo she posted of the homeless woman with the caption about my Christmas Eve plans. Sienna's face went white. I didn't mean that. I was just upset. And you? I turned to my parents. Remember when you said you were disappointed in me and wouldn't let me stay in your house because I needed to solve my own problems? That the guest room was too full of Christmas decorations for your own daughter? Dad tried to backtrack, his anger momentarily replaced by embarrassment. We thought you were really in trouble. We were trying to teach you responsibility. You showed me exactly who you are when you thought I had nothing to offer you. Sienna literally laughed at the idea of me being homeless, and you both liked her post. Mom started crying then, but they weren't real tears.
They were the manipulative kind she'd been using on me since I was a kid. Maya, we're family. We made mistakes, but we love you. We're struggling with the mortgage and Sienna's education costs so much money. Can't you help us? Just this once. Just this once. Like I hadn't been helping them just this once for 12 years. I looked at all three of them standing there, hands out, expecting me to save them just like I always had. But this time was different. This time I knew my worth. "Serves you right," I said, using Sienna's exact words from the chat. "If you were too stupid to save money for emergencies, that's your problem. You should have been more responsible." Sienna's mouth dropped open. "You can't be serious." "Dead serious. You want to talk about family? Alexis is my family. She's the one who offered her couch when I needed help. She's the one who bought me groceries when she thought I was broke. You laughed at me." I stepped back toward my door. "Get off my property. I never want to see any of you again." "You can't do this," Sienna screamed, her face red with fury. "We'll sue you. That money belongs to the family." "Good luck with that," I said, and slammed the door in their faces. They kept pounding and yelling for another 15 minutes before they finally left. Then my phone started blowing up. Calls from Mom, Dad, Sienna, all the relatives who'd refused to help me. Text messages switching between begging and threats. "Maya, please, we're desperate. You're being selfish. We'll take you to court. Family sticks together. You're going to hell for this. We raised you better. How can you abandon us like this?" I blocked all their numbers and deleted the messages without reading most of them. The harassment went on for weeks. They'd show up at my work, call from different numbers, even had some relatives I barely knew reach out on social media. All of them wanting money. All of them acting like I was the bad guy for not sharing. On July 2nd, Uncle Kevin showed up at Miami General while I was working. He cornered me in the parking lot after my shift. "Maya, you need to help us," he said, blocking my car door. "Your aunt needs surgery, $15,000. We're family. You can't just turn your back on us. I paid your electric bill for 8 months. That's $1,200 I gave you. You told me that didn't mean I owed you anything, remember? So I don't owe you anything either." His face turned red. "That's different. We needed that help. And I needed help in December. You called me dramatic and said I should handle my business. So handle yours." I got in my car and drove away, leaving him standing there.
2 weeks later, Aunt Lauren tried a different approach. She sent me a long email about how she was going to lose her house, how her insulin was getting too expensive, how she had nowhere else to turn. I replied with a single sentence. "I'm not taking in some unemployed person with no money. I have my own problems." Her exact words from the family chat. She didn't respond. Sienna was the most persistent. She tried everything. Crying voicemails, angry texts. She even created a fake Instagram account to message me, pretending to be someone else before revealing it was her. On August 10th, she showed up at my house again. This time, alone. "Maya, please," she said through the door. "I'm sorry. I was awful, I know that. But I'm drowning in student loans. $87,000. I can't afford my rent. I'm working at Starbucks and I can barely make ends meet. Please." I opened the door, but I didn't let her in. "You told me I was stupid and irresponsible. You posted a picture of a homeless woman and said it was my future. You got laughing emojis from our parents, from our entire family." "I was angry," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't mean it." "Yes, you did. You meant every word. You only care now because you found out I have money." "That's not true. You're my sister."
Alexis is my sister. You're just someone who shares my DNA and took my money for 12 years without saying thank you. I closed the door. She sat on my porch crying for 20 minutes before she finally left. I didn't respond to any of them. Richard had warned me this might happen and assured me they had no legal claim to my winnings. So I just ignored them all. Eventually, through Alexis, I heard what happened to everyone. My parents had to downsize their house in September. They moved from their 4-bedroom in Pembroke Pines to a 2-bedroom apartment in Hialeah. Mom kept complaining on Facebook about how ungrateful children abandon their parents. Sienna dropped out of FIU in October. She was working full-time at Starbucks to pay off her student loans. She deleted all her Instagram posts about her perfect life and stopped posting altogether. Uncle Kevin's power got shut off twice. Aunt Lauren was managing her insulin costs by switching to cheaper alternatives. Cousin Jade, who told me I couldn't expect them to bail me out, asked Alexis if she could put in a good word with me. When Alexis told her no, Jade posted a long rant on Facebook about family betrayal. The irony was lost on her. In November, Mom tried one last time. She sent me a letter, an actual handwritten letter. Dear Maya, I know we hurt you. I know we said things we shouldn't have said, but we're your parents. We raised you. We fed you. We clothed you. Doesn't that count for something? Don't we deserve help in our old age? Your father is 62 now. His back hurts all the time. I'm 60 and my arthritis is getting worse. We can't work like we used to. We need you. Please, Maya, we're begging you. Just help us with the rent. $1,800 a month. That's nothing to you now. Love, Mom. I read it once, then threw it away. They fed me and clothed me. That's what parents are supposed to do. That's the bare minimum. It doesn't earn them the right to drain my bank account for life. And that $1,800 a month, that would have been $21,600 a year for people who laughed at me when I needed help. No. Last month, December 15th, exactly 1 year after I'd sent that message to the family chat, I did something I'd been planning for a while. I donated $700,000 to a charity that helps homeless families during the holidays. I made the donation in Sienna's name. The charity sent Sienna a thank you card, telling her how her generous donation would help hundreds of families have a warm place to stay on Christmas Eve. Alexis told me Sienna cried when she got it. Not because she was touched, but because she realized I'd given away more money to strangers than she'd see in 10 years of working at Starbucks.
On Christmas Eve, Alexis and I went to Hawaii together. We spent a week on the beach in Maui, got massages, ate at fancy restaurants, did all the tourist stuff I dreamed about for years. Alexis kept thanking me for changing her life, but honestly, she changed mine too. When we got back on New Year's Day, I made a decision that surprised even me. I enrolled in a nurse practitioner program at the University of Miami. I'd always wanted to advance my career, but could never afford the time or money. Now I could do both. I still work at Miami General part-time, but it's different now. I'm there because I like helping people, not because I'm desperate for every paycheck. My coworkers noticed the change in me. I'm happier, less stressed, more present. Last week, one of the other nurses asked me what my secret was. I set boundaries, I told her, and I stopped giving to people who only took. She nodded like she understood, but I don't think she really did. Not yet, anyway. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if my family had passed the test. If they'd rallied around me when I needed help instead of kicking me while I was down. Would I have shared the money with them? Probably. Would I have kept enabling their behavior for the rest of my life? Definitely. But they didn't pass the test. They showed me their true selves, and it was ugly. Sienna called me last night from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Maya? Her voice was small, tired. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because I want money. I know you'll never give me anything again. I just wanted you to know that I think about what I said every day, about how I laughed at you, and I'm ashamed. I was quiet for a moment. Okay, I finally said. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Sienna? That I forgive you? I don't. You showed me who you are. I believe you. I was a different person then. No, you weren't. You were exactly the person you'd always been. I just finally saw it. She was quiet. Then, are you happy without us? I thought about my house, my career, my friendship with Alexis, my freedom from their endless demands. Yes, I'm happier than I've ever been. I heard her breath catch, like she was trying not to cry. Good, she said finally. I'm glad. You deserved better than us. Then she hung up. I don't know if that was a real apology or just another manipulation. I don't really care anymore. The lottery didn't just give me money, it gave me the truth. And sometimes the truth is the most valuable thing you can win. I'm not the same person who scratched that ticket on December 8th. I'm not the girl who gave away half her paycheck every month while eating ramen for dinner. I'm not the nurse who worked herself to exhaustion while her family called her stupid and irresponsible. I'm Maya Chen. I'm 28 years old. I own my own home. I'm advancing my career. I have real family who loves me. And I'm finally free. Thanks for listening to my story. If you learned something from this, hit that like button. And if you believe that sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is walk away from people who don't appreciate you, drop a comment below. Remember, family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up when you need them most. I'll see you in the next one.